We're live.
And we are live.
Hello, everyone. Greetings. Good evening. It is another week, another episode of Earth School Journey. We are on episode 45. 45. We're coming up on a year, like soon, like really soon. Yay. So I'm Omi Steph. I'm your host, co-host, I should say, and this is my lovely co-host Uni. How are you doing, Uni?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Umi. I'm doing well. I can't complain. How you doing today?
I am good. I've been in the garden. I have cooked. I've done a lot. I played with the chickens. I'm doing great.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. So happy to
Yeah.
hear that.
So this week we are going a little deeper, talking about this material security and spirituality. We're calling this series Rooted and Resourced. Um, Rooted in spirit and resourced by spirit, abundantly to overflowing. That is the goal. And that's what we're talking about here this week at Earth School Journey, where life is the curriculum and experience is the teacher. So, classmates, I have some questions. Do you feel secure? Or do you just feel temporarily stable? That's a hard one. Are you building wealth or are you just chasing relief? We're going to get into these questions a little later, but I just wanted to put them out there for our classmates to kind of mull over while we have this conversation. So this month, we're exploring the relationship between material security and spirituality and what it means to feel like rooted while also remaining connected to something deeper than just our possessions, our status, our stability, right? And it's we're not saying like rejecting necessarily the material things. This is all about having all of the luxuries, all of that,
Okay.
and having more than that, right? Yeah, it's because I want all the luxuries. I do. I want them. They're not most important, but they're nice, right?
I feel like I deserve them. Forget all that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I
Yeah.
deserve to feel for things to feel really good on my skin and feel like I deserve, like there's a feeling that you get when you're in luxurious environments and things. So yeah, I
Mhm.
deserve all of that.
Yeah, I think we all do, right? We deserve that. We're doing this work and you want to see it amount to something, beyond struggle. Like, okay, you get to this level of like, all right, well, I'm secure in my housing, I'm secure in food, I'm secure in all the basic needs, but now I want to bump it up. And yes, I want all the luxuries, but also I want the resources to be able to do more, to experience more, to give more, to serve more, whatever your, reason is behind it. But so that's what we're really looking at. We're looking at this relationship between our connection, our oneness with spirit, and being materially secure, but also beyond material security, right? Because we keep talking about material security because we're stuck in that scarcity mindset. So we're constantly thinking about being secure. And I've realized that in my own life where I'm like, I am materially secure. Like for real, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I am. There's more that I want that maybe I'm not ready for financially, right? Or that I'm stretching for, like buying this new house. I'm stretching for that. Like it's a stretch, okay? But allowing that stretch to make me feel like I'm not materially secure, right? I think that's like the overlap here is where it's like yeah, okay, I'm materially secure, but every single time I try to stretch and grow and do more, I get thrown back. My nervous system gets thrown back into that area of, oh my God, what if I can't? What if I don't have it? What if I am homeless again? What if I, can't afford to feed my kids? Like all of that starts to come up. And so that's what I'm like really looking forward to us like really getting to the bottom of that this month, of that feeling that is always there of, oh my God, what if I can't?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that is really the part that I feel like that's my Chiron and Taurus screaming. So I know we're just getting started. We're not really on any particular topic. You have anything you want to add to start us off?
Yeah, for me with the Chiron and Taurus, I am from my perspective, I'm constantly thinking about how if I if I'm always doing what I need to have what I need. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Doing what I need to do to have what I need. I'm willing to do what I need to do to make sure that I have what I need. And I've always been like that.
Mhm.
I remember um being like 14 or 15 and looking around at my elders and thinking like I need a job. Like
Right.
I need to take care of myself
Mhm.
because these people aren't going to do it but to a certain degree.
Right.
And I need more than that. You
Right.
know what I mean? And I feel like with my Chiron and Taurus, it's being in the seventh house is very relationship based, like having to um really be my own best friend first and have that relationship with myself. That first and seventh house and really having a good um handle on what it means to have reciprocal, you know what I mean, like relationships and things like that. Because what life has kind of taught me is that nobody's going to do it for me. Like I have to do it for myself and I have the ability to do it for myself, right? So I have the
Mhm.
ability to, like, the spirit is within me to be rooted and resourced, right? Like to do, like, I'm grounded in the fact that I know that, okay, I need to do what I need to do to take care of myself, right?
Right.
But beyond that, which is where we're exploring, you know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
knowing that I don't necessarily have to do anything. Like I can attract, I can have that energy flowing through me so that what I need shows up and I
Mhm.
don't have to overwork or get out of balance. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's the out of balance that has been really kind of doing me in. And it's why I've been like really recovering from exhaustion. Like I beat myself up about being exhausted, but I'm like, there's a reason why you don't want to really do much. You want to,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like you
Right.
had to do what you had to do for so long, but you have a greater awareness now that you can work with the most high and you don't have to overwork yourself. So that's what the lesson is for me. And so yes, I'm excited to really dive into this as well because I think that there's just so much to explore and I'm really grateful because initially I was like I don't know, like I don't feel like I can feel like I don't feel like I know spirit gave us this subject for this curriculum for this
Right.
month, but I didn't feel, I was just like I don't know. But I feel like it's right on time, so thank you.
Yeah, it's right on time. It's right on time for us to realize that Chiron is going to the Taurus this year.
Oh Lord, oh God. Oh no.
We're gonna talk about Chiron and Taurus a lot next week, y'all. You're gonna hear me say a lot about it because it's hitting. It's starting to.
Yeah.
I'm having that realization that like my Chiron return is imminent.
Same. Same.
It's imminent. It's happening. It's coming soon. Like it really is. So, and then we were talking about this topic, and it's like I don't know. I felt like Spirit saying, "Hey, here's a preview. Be ready." Be ready because it's about to get real. Like we're gonna go through some deep healing, and we all know that very often deep healing means there's going to be some stuff going down. It doesn't always have to be. You can learn your lessons in nicer ways, but us humans, for some reason, really like to make things hard. So let's get moving through some of what we have here. We kind of been talking about this first thing about the difference between basic needs and growing beyond just that basic need, right? There was definitely a time in my life where I was just trying to get my rent paid. Like I was just trying to have enough food to feed my daughter. I was just trying to have gas money. I was just trying to be able to sign her up for aftercare or, you know what I mean? Like there was that time of my life. And I remember how my nervous system felt not knowing, you know, if I was going to be able to do those things. I remember that very vividly, as a matter of fact. And even though I'm nowhere near that same level, I definitely still feel the remnants of that as I'm trying to grow. You know, and so what do you have to say about, or like what is your experience with how your nervous system is reacting as you're trying to bump up to this next level, right?
I know we're gonna dive deeper later, but I don't know, like I feel like my nervous system is calling for a lot of rest, but at the
Mhm.
same time, I'm trying not to um lean into like avoidance or too much, you know what I mean? Because it's really a lot. Like you really have to face everything. And it's like,
Mhm.
even though you have to face it, it's like you also have to know when you need literally to just rest. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I think that for me, my nervous system is a lot of times I find myself going into like freeze mode, and I'm just trying to, work through that, like acknowledge that and understand that, there was definitely a time when that kind of worked for me, and it allowed me to, move beyond where I was, and with my, having my basic needs met. I definitely went through that sort of thing as well, where it was, it's very challenging for me to have what I needed. I remember eating, trying to make oodles and noodles look fancy, and rice and broccoli, and throwing a little sprinkle of something on there, to
I
make it
know. I feel
look.
like oodles and noodles is a Chiron and Taurus staple.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? It's like we gotta look up when it was first like distributed or something, because
Something.
a lot of us grew up on it, but if you learn not to, abuse it, and you know what I mean, like you learn to put some vegetables with it, maybe don't use the salt pack as much, and just different things, it just, you just do better with it. But yeah, my nervous system, it definitely, there's definitely some things I've noticed as I grow. And I also, I don't I don't really like, you know um yeah, it's a freeze thing for me, you know what I
Mm.
mean? It's really a freeze thing for me. And I what I want to do is learn how to allow that freeze to help me to pause and maybe get my bearings. Like it's okay to pause, but at some point you got to keep moving. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah. I You made me think of fight, flight, or freeze. Like
Mm,
you're in freeze mode. I remember being in freeze mode. I am now. I feel like I'm in constant fight mode.
mhm,
Yeah, and a lot of what I'm fighting is my own thoughts
mm,
about money, my own thoughts about what people are going to do to me, or how they're
mhm.
going to take advantage of me, or especially because I had that situation where I put a lot of money down for a house and it just evaporated in thin air. I was taken advantage by someone who I thought was not only a friend but a professional. You know,
Right.
um, and so I'm really fighting my own thoughts around a lot of this stuff. These themes of being taken advantage of or being humiliated. In a financially in some kind of way of like, oh, somebody did that to you, you just let them do that. No, it's not like I let them. It just happened. you know um Kind of feeling like I'm not going around with a sign on my head that says I'm gullible, take advantage of me.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
right. um and so I'm gonna, well, you all can't see our outline, but our outline is in a certain order. And so I'm saying this for Uni's benefit, basically. I think I'm going to skip to the end where we're talking about
Uh-huh.
the difference between like when it shifts from kind of am I secure to what am I doing with my resources, right? And I feel like I'm at that stage. I'm at the stage of I'm secure, but I feel spirit calling me to do more, right? And I guess in the reaching to do that more, I don't feel secure anymore. If that makes sense, right?
It does.
Yeah. Like I want I know I'm secure. I know that intellectually, but my nervous system, my beliefs, my thoughts start to go into panic mode every time I stretch. Like when I tell you like the most high anxiety moment was signing our closing documents for the house and looking at the monthly like payment. And even though we've done the math and even though we know we can afford it and we've like looked at the difference because like we won't be on county or town like water or anything like that. So it evens out. You know what I
Well,
mean? It does even out. It's a little more expensive, but it's not crazy. Even knowing that, I was still internally freaking out. And here's where the fight comes in. I'm having conversations like spirits got me. I'm resourced by the divine. If God wants me to be on this property, there's nothing that can stop this from happening. And I'm going to be supplied. And I know I have a mission. And like, there's the fight for me is I'm constantly feeling like I have to talk myself down. So I'm not frozen. I'm moving forward, but it's a fight. It is such a fight of like within my own consciousness to make that happen. So, oh, we were
can,
talking about the idea of security as a tool, not a destination.
yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
As you're talking, what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is like a tightrope or like an obstacle course or something where you got to go from one end to the other, right?
Mhm.
And there are it's a challenge, right, to get from one. So in between in between security to security is the unknown, right?
Right.
So yeah, so you got to hold on to the security that you have, you know um I think of tightrope walker and people walkers and people who are good at balancing, you know what I mean? And
Right.
staying centered so that, as they're taking these steps to where you feel secure in your new environment. You know what I mean? In your new
Mm-hmm.
reality. Like, yeah, it's a fight to get to the other side. Like, yes,
Yeah.
so I'm definitely feeling where you're coming from with that. And I'm just proud of you and your family, you and your wife for taking those steps. You know what I mean? Holding
Thank
hands
you.
and walking to the other side. You're welcome. Holding hands and walking to the other side together. That's the most important thing. I think that it's just definitely a way to understand that the security that you have, yes, that's what's going to get you to
Mm-hmm.
the other side, that
Yeah.
ability to balance and hold yourself steady while you're getting, even if things rock a little, and you know what I mean, like I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
of, I remember walking across something like a little man-made like one of them rope bridges thingies, and it may rock a little bit, but you got to keep going. So
Right.
yeah, I definitely understand that. And it has just you sharing that is definitely giving me just an understanding of a lot of things, you know what I mean, in life. Like there's just so many things that I've experienced in my life that um I've been the stability amongst all the chaos. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's like, all right, when am I gonna realize that I'm
Right.
this like I have security within myself, and that's all I really need. You know what I
Right.
mean? And the things that have, been outside of me, that have, these things there, it's all been other people's illusions and thoughts and things like that. But what I have within myself is a very good view, because I think of spirit has been reminding me of a lot of my strengths recently. Just how I'm able to look at things from different perspectives, and I'm not necessarily closed-minded, but that can be a little bit of a challenge, because sometimes you can kind of psych yourself out by thinking too much, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But understanding that it is in the doing that we have security, that we learn, and you know what I mean, we change and we grow. And yeah, for me it's just really trusting in the ability that I have to create. you know that's really what it is for me, trusting in that creation
Mm.
ability. And really leaning into that, and being secure in that, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big.
And I guess I want to clarify something. You said it's in the doing. And I want to clarify that we're not talking about, or at least this is, correct me if I'm wrong. You're not talking about necessarily in the it's the doing that gets you
Yeah,
the thing, right?
yeah,
Because that's where you end up in burnout, because it's like, I got to do, I got to do, I got to do. It's in the, like, spirit is directing you.
yeah,
And even though you're scared, or you don't know what's next, or you don't know how to move forward, you still move forward.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's the doing. That's the works that go along with the faith. Right.
Yeah,
It's not, I got to bust my butt to make this happen. Right.
yeah,
Sometimes it is, but like most of the time, it's really not. We just feel as humans that we have to do that because it's what society has taught us. If you don't work hard, you're not going to get anywhere. Right.
right.
And so it's not in that doing. It's if spirit is saying, hey, go over there and start that YouTube channel. And, you go and start it and it doesn't make any money for a year, right? We're almost coming up in a year, right? But the growth, the spiritual growth, the ability to, like, the things that we've gotten out of doing this, by following that, taking that action and that doing, I wouldn't say we're like busting our humps to do anything with this channel, right? But we put effort into it. We listen to spirit about it. You know what I mean? And we do it because we enjoy it and we love it, you know. And I can see where this specific, push from spirit has led to more financial security, has led to more growth. And I feel like if we hadn't done this, I don't know if I'd be ready to do this whole house thing.
Wow.
Because we've dealt with so many of the things, we've talked about so many of the things, and I've used a lot of the practices and all of that. Like, so it's not, I just want to make it clear that it's not the doing that we're talking about is not the doing of like I have to produce,
Yeah.
right? It's in the doing of what spirit is leading you to do.
Yeah. The alignment.
Taking those steps. Yes, those aligned steps.
Yeah. You can take 3 aligned steps and end up further than if you take 100 unaligned steps.
Right.
That's the part that a lot of people don't really realize, and that's the beauty of following spirit. You get much further much faster.
Yes.
You get much further much faster, and it's just such a beautiful thing because it's miraculous. It is, you know what I mean? It's like all the things that you see in like cartoons and television, and that stuff is real, like magic and spiritual alignment and all that stuff is real. But we have been so bogged down that it's hard for us to tap into it. There's so many things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Social media, you don't know how watching and listening to certain things, it's a lot of that stuff is getting into our subconscious and all of that. And yeah, it's a lot to stay alive.
Yeah. And that kind of brings me to the topic of co-creation. This is what's ringing for me when you're speaking right now is, that alignment is the co-creation. When you see alignment, when you feel alignment, when you hear alignment, and you know that spirit is behind that thing 100%, that's where the magic is. That's where it is. That's when 3 aligned steps get you further than 100, forced, I'm going to make this happen steps, right? Right? It's effort and surrender. Like surrender to God's will, surrender to the belief and the knowing and the knowledge that you are resourced and guided and all of that. And action. You have to take some action. There is effort. And then there's the difference between that and either avoidance or kind of forcing an issue, because forcing it is not surrender either. Avoiding is not surrender either. Like neither one of those things is. So what are your thoughts on this idea of co-creation and kind of surrendering versus this idea of avoidance?
Yeah, I think you make a great point about avoidance and forcing it being, counterproductive. I feel like those are things that those are like 2 of the main things that I have personally been working through, because sometimes what I've noticed in relationships, and again, my Chiron in the 7th house, right? What I've noticed in relationships is there's that push and pull between doing too much, trying too hard, people stepping on my boundaries, me trying to speak up and share, and then me just being like, okay. Like, I'm not dealing with none of this. I'm just you know what I mean?
Right.
It's too much. And not thinking ahead of time and really working with spirit, and with that co-creation, the spirit of co-creation, even with my relationships, like I
Mhm.
have thought about that greatly, with some of my romantic relationships and the things that I saw that I didn't really like, certain characteristics and behaviors, but I would either force it or I would avoid, you know what I mean? Until
Mhm.
I realized, okay, this person isn't aligned with me. We're not aligned, period. And
Right.
so really taking a step back and allowing myself to know where I'm aligned with people in relationship, and allowing them to be that while maintaining my boundaries, because I had this beautiful revelation on Mother's Day the other day, and I was just working, I was volunteering in a community garden, and I was weeding and I was pruning, I had some shears, I was doing my thing, and I'm like, the person who's running it, she's like, yeah, we got to pull up this mugwort, we need to pull up this frag, we need to pull up these weeds, you know what I mean? And I'm like, these are like, I love all of these things, like I would like,
Right.
you know what I mean? But these things don't belong in this garden, because they're taking over the plants. I see the mugwort like growing in between the other native plants, like just taking over,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I'm thinking about what I want in my garden of
Mhm.
life. You know what I mean? Staying aligning with spirit so that the garden that that I'm creating with the most high is seeing the fruits of what it needs to have, in my life, you know. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, we need to reinforce some of these fences." And I'm thinking about boundaries and like it's just this whole spiritual, moment that I'm having in this garden. And it's not necessarily my garden. This is this person, it's a native plant garden. It's planted by the Native Plant Society and of the county that I live in. And so they're, they of course, like, yeah, she's planted some beautiful plants and some trees and things like that. But in order to keep it beautiful, and you to see you being able to see like the different types of plants that she's put in there. Yeah, I gotta pull this mugwort up. I gotta pull this frag. I gotta put this fence back up.
Right.
And I'm just thinking about the garden that I want like, what do I want the garden of my life to look like? Even having thoughts of like the Garden of Eden, God, the Most High didn't want certain things going on. You know what I mean? And it's like
Mhm.
I want certain things in my garden. And so yeah, this idea of trusting and knowing what it is that I need in my garden, and working with the Most High to make sure that I am achieving that is it's been so it's just been made so apparent to me over the past few days. It's definitely something I want to explore deeper.
Yeah.
There's another community garden real quick that I'm working at, and the guy was like, I got a garden bed that and the guy was like, oh, just throw some seeds around, just plant these. He gave me some seeds, and he's like, oh, these are some beans, these are some this. I'm like, wait a minute. In my bed, I want to have a plan. I want to know what I'm putting. I don't just want to sprinkle seeds in my
Right.
bed,
Right.
and so these are like things that are themes that are showing up in my life, and I'm just praying for the ability to move beyond, the capacity that I've had in the past, and bring it to another level, to be honest with you.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, and I love the metaphors from the garden because you know me. Garden
Yes.
is everything to me. I learned so much from the garden. Like the garden really is where spirit speaks to me.
Mhm.
It's just I learned so many lessons. Like, you're talking about the boundaries and fences and you know, yes. You have to keep the animals out or they're going to destroy, or they're going to eat everything and then you won't have a harvest. That's important. That's an important lesson that doesn't just apply to gardens.
Right.
You
Right.
can't let everybody have part of your resources because, spirit allowed you to have them so that you can prosper, so that you can be well, so that you can do, what you need to do. And so you don't have to let everyone have access to your resources. You, yes, want to be, you want to overflow that abundance and pass, like let it circulate through you. And that kind of brings me to this next topic of stewardship and capacity. Because, we think about being able to hold on to it, and it's not hold on to it permanently, right? You can't make a, um, you can't let it get stagnant, right? Your resources can't grow stagnant because you're hoarding them, right? You have to allow them to flow through. And I think part of my issues with basic security is feeling confident that the supply is always coming, because it's always going out, right? It's always going out. It's always going out. Some kind of way. May not be going out in the way that you want it to do. It may not be going out in luxurious ways. It may not be going out in humanitarian ways. It may not be going out in fun ways. It may just be going to bills, but it's definitely going to go out. And but you have to be able to hold on to it long enough to steward it, to make more, to bring more in, to give it, but you have to be able to hold and sustain and manage and grow it. And I feel that my biggest issue, and this is completely a spirituality issue for me, is that I don't trust that I can hold it long enough to allow more to come and to grow it. Right. And so you can do all these things, you can manifest millions, but can you hold on to it long enough for your capacity to grow? Right? For your ability to hold it, to grow. Because, yeah, you could, there's this idea of it flowing through and circulating, but you're a cup, not a pipe. You know what I mean? You have to be full first before you can give to someone else. It's not supposed to just run through you, right? And it's, I guess, the difference between a teacup and, a big gulp. I would like a big gulp, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
And I feel like I want to be a big gulp, or like I need to be a big gulp, right? So that I can be full and overflow, and give and be able to hold a lot, but also be able to give a lot. And I'm not quite a teacup, but I'm trying to do big gulp things, and I'm really like a 16-ounce mug. I'm in the middle.
All right. That's all right, sis.
Explain that. So I think I'm freezing. Am I freezing?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like summertime, it just gets, the internet even gets worse than it is in the wintertime. Anywho. So what are your thoughts about stewardship and capacity? I mean, I know I'm struggling with it. That's really my biggest struggle, I think, is that stewardship piece.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
I feel like for me, I definitely struggle with stewardship as well. You know what I mean? In the sense of, again, it's about being in alignment and making sure that I am making aligned actions, taking aligned actions and doing, you know what I mean? Things like I'm thinking about I had a thought earlier about the way I like spend my time and my energy and my resources. You know what I mean? That's my stewardship, you know. Am I pouring those things back again, like you said, am I pouring those things back into myself? Am I making sure that I'm filling my own cup up so that
Mhm.
everything I can handle the things that I need to handle so that I can have the capacity of what it is that I see in my mind in in my first eye in it manifests into my life, you know.
Mhm.
It's a challenge for me as well, but it again, I'm being led back to the tendency to kind of avoid or freeze or force, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whereas it's like, no, you gotta get still. You gotta make sure that you're hearing spirit clearly. You have to make sure that all those other voices are silenced around you. You have to make sure that you're tending and toiling and or not toiling, but tending and nurturing and pouring into the things that are going to continue to allow your capacity to grow. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And so it's just about really staying in alignment. Like I feel like this thought of alignment has been with me since quarantine. And I remember even kind of when we were on Clubhouse, one of the guys who was like a rapper, or he is a rapper, he's good actually, Dionysus, and he had me I did like a whole chorus and a verse, like wrote about alignment, like seriously, and I don't remember what I wrote, but it was just it's just like such a theme because I feel like the things that we encounter in life is like you're just constantly having to make sure that you're staying in alignment, so that you can get to the other side. So, yeah, it is that stewardship is just making sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do, and I struggle with that. I'm not going to lie.
I definitely do too. I think that surrender piece, and remembering that it's just a continuation of co-creation,
Yeah.
is something that just kind of came to me. It's like, yeah, I feel like I'm not capable a lot of times, or like I don't have the capacity, or that I'm overwhelmed, or that I don't know what to do. Well, am I always seeking the guidance before making the moves? Right.
Bingo. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is so important.
Yeah. And realizing that I don't, that a lot of times I move before I've thought about it. You know what I mean? Definitely, I definitely realized that the choice to trust the person I trusted to build our house was a choice made out of fear and not guidance.
Mm,
Looking back, I can see where I could have been guided in a different direction, but I wasn't paying attention to that gut feeling that said stop.
mm, yeah, that,
Right.
yeah,
And thinking and misdirecting that into thinking myself that, like, oh no, you're just afraid because you've never done something like this before, or you know what I mean? Like, no, I looking back, I realized my gut, I was anxious. I was very anxious. And I mean, anxiety was my state of being for a long time. So I was trying to ignore the anxiety, but really it was spirit speaking to me and saying, hey, bad idea,
yeah,
but I just couldn't see it at that time. I wasn't connected enough. I wasn't This was 6 years ago now, 5 years ago now. I've had a lot of practice since then. Cuz let me tell you, nothing will get you turned into spirit faster than having somebody steal $200,000.
I can't listen. I listen.
Right.
That's
Yes.
all I'm gonna say.
I've had to do some deep soul searching since then,
Yeah,
and really learning to fine tune
yeah,
that stewardship,
yeah,
because God gave me. a very large sum of money, and I lost it. I lost it. I take responsibility for that. I trusted in the wrong person. I did not listen to spirit. I did not check in with spirit. I made that decision because I felt already like someone else was taking advantage of me and I needed someone else to protect me instead of doing it myself.
Listen, listen.
That's yeah. I see it now. Of course I see it now. It's clear. Hindsight is always 2020.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm trying to harvest the lesson, and I'm saying it right now for the benefit of our classmates. How many of you have been through something like this? Like
Not with that amount
not
of
the
money.
exact
Yeah.
scenario, but you
Yeah.
know, some version of it, right?
Yeah, for
No,
sure.
I learned it to like the nth degree. Okay. There were other lessons in there as well, right?
Right.
Because my core wound is homelessness. Like that is one of my core wounds is
It's
not
what?
having homelessness,
Oh, got it.
not
Yeah.
having some place to live. Like that is a big one for me.
Yeah.
Um and so that was driving my decision.
Right.
I was allowing fear to drive my decision and not spirit. And so that I mean I just can't get that out there enough. Like I see where I went wrong, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I'm grateful that I'm moving past it now, but I still like to have my money back.
Of course.
Still like it back. Thank you
Of
very much.
course. Yeah.
So, we have about 14 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Um and we wanted to try something a little different this time, right? We have like a real life application scenario. And so the scenario is you are low on money. The bills are coming up. What does spiritual alignment actually look like here? And so let's talk it out. Uni, what do you think? What's like your first? I mean, for me, the first thing I'm saying is regulate that nervous system. Well, what about you? Where do you think? How do we approach it?
For me, I've been there. You know what I mean? For sure. And just really thinking about the times that I did what I needed to do. You know what I mean? I took that practical action. And yeah, like I feel like maybe subconsciously somewhere I regulated my nervous system because I did my best with what I had. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I balanced, what I could. I budgeted. You know what I mean? And people don't realize that, budget is about more than just what you do with your money. You know what I mean? It's what you do with
Yes.
your time. It's really all your resources, And so yeah, I think that I definitely um I haven't um I haven't experienced that in a while, thankfully. Um, but I was able to um do what I needed to do to make sure that I was taking the aligned action. So I was looking up the word budget in the etymology dictionaries. That's why I'm a little fumbling over my words, but it's basically saying to include. You know what I mean? So I feel like and then the noun is like the noun of budget. That's the verb. The noun is like a leather pouch or small sack. So it's like taking what you have and putting it where you can. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so yeah, I think that's really what it's about. It's about just knowing that I'm doing the best I can with what I got. And I have definitely gotten myself through some rough times in the past
Mm-hmm.
by budgeting and making sure that because we live in this like cyclical world, you know what I mean? It's everything's coming back around.
Right.
Right? Everything's coming back around. So you do what you can with this one this month and that one, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think that that's always been it for me. It's just like work doing the best I can with what I had. Like
Hmm.
I don't even know if I'm explaining it in a step by step thing, you know?
Right. Yeah, I feel like there was definitely a time where all I wanted to do was like, I got to figure out how I'm going to do it. I'm going to look for some extra work. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick up some overtime. I'm going to, you know what I mean? Do this extra job, do this side gig, whatever it is, to do something to earn money to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like aligned action doesn't mean you don't try to do those things
Right.
necessarily, but that before you start doing all of the things, that you take a moment to check in, right? And that's why I say check your nervous system first, because if your nervous system is driving, then you are in, like frantic, I got to make it happen, got to make it happen, got to make it happen, got to make it happen. Or you could be in avoidance if your nervous system is not, you know, I definitely know lots of people who do not switch into I have to do mode to get it done, who switch into I'm going to ignore this and it's just going to go away.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
people who do that, but I'm more the other kind. I'm the kind that's like, I'm just going to try to do anything I can, make it happen. And I'm burn myself out and I'm still not going to have what I need. And so what I have learned is like step one is definitely ground myself, right? And then prayer, prayer, prayer where I am affirming that I have my needs met, that spirit is my source, my supply, that anything that needs to be done will be done, and reminding myself of those things and really, because that's not only calming my nervous system and reprogramming my brain, but it's also changing my vibe to bring in what I need, right?
Mhm.
And then, there's the listening for the aligned action. Well, spirit may give you guidance to go over here, talk to this person, go to that event. And it may seem completely disconnected. It may not seem like it has anything to do with the bill that needs paying. But somehow or another, it ends up that, oh, well, there's a program over there, and that program is to get rid of that particular bill. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff available in the world. We never even know. It's not always that you're going to get the finances in hand to pay the bill. So I think we are starting to wind down here. I hope that that was helpful for somebody, for someone. Let us know in the comments kind of what is your answer to that question. If you're low on money and you really want to lean into spirit, how do you do that? How does that work for you? Um, Owen's over here meowing. I don't know if you saw him jump over.
I
He
did.
hopped. I was like, oh my gosh.
I did.
Oh, all right. I think that's all we really have. Do you have anything else on the topic or should we just wrap up?
Yeah, I think, just thinking about whether or not we're secure versus what we're doing with our energy, our resources, it's something to continue to think about. You know what I mean? The security is within us.
Mhm.
I am
Mhm.
the security. I worked in security for a long time. It's like such a, you know what I mean? I thought
Yep.
it hit me one day, and I think it hit me when I did like one of those. They make you sometimes do like personality tests, and now everybody has to talk about what they got. I think we did like the disc assessment. You know what I mean? And I literally was like between uh emotional or logical. I was like right in the middle. You know what I mean? And it's like in my profile said, you're very stable, you're very
Mm,
secure, and well, I think it says stable, but I had to find the security as well. You know what I mean?
right,
And realize, and so just knowing that you are the security, the security is within you. And it's what are you going to do with that now? How are you
right.
going to continue to pour into and nourish the garden of your life?
Yeah.
Really think about that. We're in the month of Taurus. It's all about what we value. What do you value?
Hmm.
Really, really identifying that right now in real time,
Yeah.
you know. So when we move into Mercury, our mind is there. We've established it, and now we're going with it. You know what I mean? We're moving. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. This has been such a great exploratory month.
Yeah. Definitely a learning experience for me.
Same, same.
Yeah. We really appreciate all of our classmates for joining us, those that are joining us live right now, and everybody who listens later. We so appreciate you. We bless you. We will definitely see you next time. And I think that's all. Uni, we
May
out.
you be, yes, I just want to remind everyone that may you be guided, may you be supported, and may you be lovingly reminded of who you are. This has been Earth School Journey, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.